Hey people, what's going on? Hope you're well and in good health. In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the best ways to get to making $10,000 a month. Now, $10,000 a month might be an arbitrary number, but that's the kind of number that's quite often thrown around in the space of entrepreneurs world and entrepreneur space in terms of people wanting to be able to hit six figures. Now, if you're making 10k a month, obviously you're making over 100,000 a year. If you were to make 10k consecutively, month after month, so obviously within a year, you're looking at 120k. So there are a lot of different ways that you could actually do this. Okay, now for different people, it's going to be different. It depends about you, where you are in life, and where you want to get to. Okay, so maybe you need to look at the skill set that you have and where you're positioned. Right, everybody wants health, wealth, and happiness or contentment. I mean, I don't know about happiness, because to be happy constantly it's not realistic, because so you've probably heard of yin and yang, the opposites, right, that keep the human balance. So we have happiness and we have sadness, we have the day and then we have the night. So all these things are there developed, and obviously in terms of happiness, psychologically, if you're happy all the time, generally you're probably not going to have a fantastic life, because it's just not possible to be happy all the time. You know, humans, they tend to have all sorts of things going on emotionally, psychologically, generally in life. Mental health is a big issue right now that people talk about, and we need to look at the different elements that one needs to incorporate in terms of getting the right balance, right? The term I would say is equilibrium, right? Getting that balance, the right balance. So having health, wealth, and being content with yourself, but in a balanced kind of way. So you can see this idea of balance. I mean, if you think about it, for example, if somebody is eating a lot and overeating, right, doesn't exercise, eventually what's going to happen is they're going to put weight on, right? That's what normally happens. And if they persist and they keep doing this, they'll put a lot of weight on and they might become obese. And see, every actual thing that happens, like that, for example, have a cause and an effect, right? So the cause is there, the effect is there, right? So you see how this idea of balance is important. I mean, even the ancient philosophers, maybe in Greece, they had their different ways of talking about this, and a wider field philosophers, who were delved in Stoicism and different elements, talk about this as well, right? So all these things come together in terms of setting yourself up so that you can actually, start to hit those 10k months. Now, if you're not well, for example, if you're overweight, you're not healthy, you're not training, you're not hitting the gym, you're not pumping iron, right? You're not doing any of that, you might not be well, right? You might have various illnesses. Some of them can be brought on by, for example, diet. Now we do know that when people eat too much, they put on weight, they might get diabetes. There's two different types of diabetes, and one is reversible, as they say, and often is brought on by overeating when someone becomes severely overweight. And a lot of the times they lose weight, and then that can be reversed. And there's other types of diabetes, which is around insulin and blood sugar, which can't be normally. Okay, so you can see where you need to be, right? You need to have your life in some sort of balance so that you can start to build. Because if you start working and you can only work a couple of hours a day because you're not well, then you're not going to be able to fully maximize your potential. So once you've come to some sort of equilibrium, or as close as possible, you need to have a look at the best way that you can get to 10k a month. Now, I used to joke with a friend that, we used to talk about getting to that six-figure mark in a year, right? Making that 100k in a year. That was a big target. And that was before I met people who were doing, like, for example, 1 million in one day, right? When I started to meet these people, I started to realize that money is pretty much everywhere, right? People have money, they spend it. You'll see the banks, money in the economy. The question is, how do you get that money to flow to you? Okay, so there are different ways to make these 10K per month. And like I said, I had that goal of making 100K in a year, but then I was making $100,000+ a month, right? And that's through the work that I did in my field and particular work that I'm doing. So the question is, how can you get to that 10K? So there's 3 ways that I can suggest, in my opinion, that might open up a path for you to get to 10K months. Now, one of those would be simply creating a digital product, right? Right now we live in a space that online, internet, broadband, this type of stuff is pretty much reaching people around the world. So this interconnectivity allows you to communicate with people on the other side of the world. So you might be living in Australia, but you could be communicating with somebody in the USA or Singapore or Dubai or France or elsewhere. And that's the power of the internet. And the internet has made people fortunes, and it's about time that you take advantage of it, because now we're in the 4th industrial age, and this tech and innovation is changing all the time. You've probably heard of the metaverse and how things are changing. So you need to get in there and take your portion, take your share of that pie, right? So for example, right, you create a digital product, right? You might be a fitness trainer, right? You might be into bodybuilding, strength training, someone who loves to go to the gym, right? How can you monetize that skill, right? First of all, you can create some content. You can set up a funnel, a sales funnel. On the front end, you can have advertisement, paid advertisement, or you can do organic content marketing. So you can use different platforms like TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, and just create daily content. So now you could do YouTube Shorts, for example. Videos are less than 60 seconds, and you could be sharing a tip on healthy eating, sharing a tip on training in the gym, for example, bicep training, tricep training, lats, back, whatever it might be. And slowly over time, you'll start to build an audience, right? And once you start to build that audience, you can monetize the audience. And one of the ways you can do that is through a digital product, right? So what is a digital product? It could be something like an ebook, for example. So you could create a training plan that you can sell off a website, Shopify store, from a link in your bio, whatever it might be, right? That could be easily a downloadable PDF document, which is relatively easy to make, or you can get someone to make it for you if you give them the content, and you can sell that as a product. Or you can create something else like an online course, right? So for example, a digital product such as an ebook, you might price it at $20, $30, right? $40, right? With an online course, I've seen online courses priced from low figures like $37, $47, $97, all the way through to like $5,000, right? Quite often you'll see courses at $1997 or $1497 or $997, right? These different kinds of figures. Now it depends about what kind of value you're providing, your audience. Now within that online course, you can actually test it out with your audience to see what they're interested in, and then based upon that, you can see what kind of demand there might be. So it saves you the hassle of actually having created a full online course with so many modules and then no one buys. So you could test it out. You could do a little bit of quantitative kind of research, maybe some surveys, ask your audience what's going on, what they're looking at, what they're interested in, and once you get an idea, you can develop your course around that. So you could have a course, for example, which talks about gaining weight, gaining muscle mass, and so on, right? You could have 10 modules. You could record 5 videos, which are 5 minutes each in each module. Now you've got 50 videos, right? You've got some good content. You could have a couple of bonuses as well, and then you can market that product to a sales funnel. So you could give away something for free, So that could be like 10 top tips on how to gain muscle, for example. You could do like a cheat sheet, one-page cheat sheet, which is easy to kind of develop, and then you could build a mailing list, create email marketing series, and then sell your products and services, provide extra support, accountability, those type of things, right? That's one way to get to 10k months. Another way to get to 10k months would be something like freelancing. You might be really, really good at something like, I don't know, like graphic design, let's say, for example, right? So you might have done some sort of training, or maybe a good illustrator, artist, but you've developed skills around graphic design. And it could be anything. It could be, virtual assistant, admin, social media marketing, whatever it might be, right? But let's just use graphic design as an example, right? You could then go onto platforms like Fiverr.com, Upwork.com, Freelancer, all these kind of like different freelancer websites, and you can actually create a profile and then put your portfolio up on there and market that again through different platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Create content and share that around so they build a following, right? And then you can pick up clients. You can also do cold email marketing, cold outreach, for example, to develop sales and drum up sales. And you can also, find corporate clients, for example, right? Keep building a portfolio. If you haven't got any clients, what you might want to do is a bit of free work. So you might do like 5 clients for free. So just offer your services for free. Get 5 testimonials off those people. Now you've got a little bit of a portfolio that you can share with potential clients or future clients. And then you can charge them, for example, £100, £200, whatever it might be, depending on what they need. So sometimes now we're looking at people, creators, for example, who want YouTube thumbnail creators, right? We're looking at people who want to get their videos edited, or they want some sort of graphics for their videos, that kind of stuff, right? And you can build your way up. So you might start off on the low end in terms of pricing, and then you can build up your price once you've built your experience and you've built a portfolio, a bit of a name for yourself, right? The third way that you can develop, a business or a side hustle where you're making 10,000 a month is through something like consultancy, right? So you might have had a background in project management, let's say, right? And you're really good at that. So what you could do is you can set up a management consultancy, and you can find clients. You can find clients who need project management work being done for them. Now, I'm actually talking from experience here because I've done it myself. I've worked with a range of clients, and I've actually managed projects. I've managed budgets. I've booked hotels, booked travel. I've ran meetings. I've ran communication sessions with partners, for example, through email, through Zoom, WhatsApp. I've done presentations on behalf of the company, and I've managed projects from start to finish. I've traveled the world doing this. I've been to places like Spain, Portugal, Italy, Cyprus, Poland, Jordan, Turkey, different parts of the world, managing projects on behalf of clients. And that's an example of a consultancy business. Now, you could charge a client, you could have like a fixed fee. So you might say, for example, $5,000 or £5,000 for a particular project. So it might include different elements that you have to deliver over 3 months. Or you might say like a monthly rate of £2,000. It might be a day rate of like 150, 250 euros or pounds or dollars a day. And then you might have like 10 days a month over 6 months that you do this project, and then you can send an invoice across for 60 days in that example, right? So you can create consultancy based upon your skills, your experience, and your background, right? And then you can use this to get to 10k a month. Now, that's pretty much 3 ways you can actually get to 10k a month. And to be honest with you, you've got to put in the effort, you've got to put in the time, and you've got to put in the commitment to make it work. It's not easy. You'll see all these online gurus talking about stuff, saying, you can do it, this and that, 5 hours a week. Not really. You've got to spend time, effort, and you've got to put in that work to make it happen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. So, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, drop a comment, let us know what you think. And also you can catch this podcast on Anchor. And if you do feel like you provided value, support us on Anchor. There's 3 options there that you can support us with and sponsor the podcast. And yeah, please do subscribe, leave any comments, and speak soon.